We're here today for a very important reason. This is our traditional candidates' night. It is not a forum for debate, it is not argumentative, and it is not combative. It is strictly to let the candidates shine. Those candidates that have been invited here are those running for District 1 in Hollywood and for District 6 for the County Commission. Well, basically, we are focusing on questions relating to the Hollywood Beach, because we are the Hollywood Beach Civic Association, and the ones that we feel that the residents would most like to hear about what the candidates can do to improve and help us with a lot of the situations that are coming about now for resiliency, flooding, traffic, and many questions. So we've got a whole list of questions. We're ready to go. A big thanks to South Florida Video Productions. I am so happy that you are here to capture this and share it with the rest of the audiences that couldn't be here. See you on the beach. Wonderful night to be here. The purpose of this meeting is in the tradition that Hollywood Civic Association has always held a candidates night. For the past 18 years in election cycles, we offer a candidates night for you to be able to learn about the candidates that are asking you to vote for them and the reasons that they think you should. At this time, I'd like to introduce our District 1 candidates. Would you stand, please?
Hey everybody, Brian, first candidate for District 1 Commissioner here in the city of Hollywood.
Good evening, everyone. Catherine Newton, and you can call me Kat.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming. I'm Feldman, and let the show begin.
And we're going to now introduce our Broward County District 6 candidates.
Hey, how you doing? AJ Ryan, run for Broward County District 6. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Eugene Ball, thank you for being here.
Hi everyone, Carol Shuham, current Hollywood City Commissioner and candidate for Broward County Commission District 6.
Good evening, everyone. For each candidate, you will have 2 minutes on every question. We will not be doing any rebuttal. So whatever you say for the information question will be the end of what you say. We will have a timekeeper here. My associate Lara, she will have a 30-second flag and then time's up. When time's up, I don't want to be rude, but please try to end your sentence so we can move on. We have a lot of very good questions that have to be generated so people will learn more about you. Okay, starting number 1. Is the microphone up there? Okay, let's start with the candidate on the left. Let's just start there. I'm going to ask each of you to introduce yourself.
No introduction? No.
Yes, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to tell you now. Okay, so please stand, introduce yourself. You don't have to stand. If you wish to stand, you can. If you want to sit, you sit. But please introduce yourself. Please share your experiences that best has prepared you for running for this position, and what main issue would you like to be most accountable for the residents for?
Okay, great. Thank you, Diana. Again, my name is Carol Shuham. I have a long background in the world of construction. I started my career as a civil engineer and then became a construction lawyer, not in litigation so much as negotiating construction contracts. In 2018, when your commissioner for District 1 decided not to run for re-election, Deborah Case, I was asked to run, and I did, and I was successful. I became a city commissioner in 2018 for this district in Hollywood, and I was unopposed in 2022. Amazingly, and kind of unexpectedly, during those 8 years, I realized that there are 2 things that are really helpful to be a city commissioner. 1, a degree in civil engineering, and 2, a law degree. Almost everything that comes before us on the city commission touches one of those 2 things. Either it's a contract or it has a lot to do with our infrastructure. So I feel like I was in the right place at the right time. The experience that I had as a city commissioner has really prepared me to take this experience, my background, to the county commission. We live at ground zero of sea level rise. We're pretty much at one of the lowest points in Broward County where we are sitting right now. And as you all know, we are living through some serious infrastructure projects here in Hollywood. And Hollywood is ahead of a lot of its neighbors in this regard, and that's because of the very fine work of the current city commission, your CRA. We got some great letters today about what's happening on Jackson Street. That road was raised and did not flood in the rains this week, as well as the county and the FDOT. I would like to be remembered for the commissioner that helped reduce flooding, improved property values, and lowered insurance rates in this city and in this county. Thank you.
Well, good evening again. I'm very grateful to see many of you. I'm here joined by my wife, and so before I introduce myself, I have to introduce my amazing wife and the mother of our 2 children. My name is Eugene Bold. I'm a father and I'm a husband. And for the past 5.5 years, I've had the privilege of working as a director of policy at the county, working on many of the issues we all deal with, including resiliency, infrastructure, affordability, even taxes and millage. All of these issues are critical to our community. In addition to that, even though tonight I'm not serving in that capacity since I'm the candidate, I have been asked to join the board of this wonderful organization that's hosting us tonight, and I'm currently serving as a vice president, and I'm very fortunate for that opportunity because it allowed me to use many of the relationships that I have built at the county and at the state to bring in folks that can help make a difference. Because at the end of the day, while the efforts of the municipal elected officials go pretty far in alleviating some of the issues, we need the help of our partner agencies, whether it's FDOT, whether it's the county, whether it's the state. Because as we all know, we are ground zero, as Commissioner rightly pointed, in climate change, for climate change. The infrastructure needs far surpass the ability of our residents and small businesses to support financially through their taxes. So the only way to meaningfully address these things involve other parties. We have to go to the county, we have to go to the state, and even the federal government. And that is why my many years of building relationships and expertise at the county could be instrumental in bringing some of those funds so we can address the issues that we see right in front of this building. We're installing now 4 pumps. We need 20 more and a lot more investment. Thank you for your time.
Hey, good evening, everybody. This is a great opportunity to talk to the Hollywood Beach Civic Association. Thanks for having me out here. I'm AJ Ryan. I'm currently a commissioner in Dania Beach. I was the former mayor over there. I'm a father of 3. I'm a small business owner as a real estate broker, an insurance broker, and a licensed CAM. So I see a lot of the problems that this community faces when it comes to dealing with condo reform, with 40-year inspections, with your insurance rates. I've helped people through all of that. As a real estate broker, also, I deal with the housing market, and I know the inventory, I know the market, I kind of see where trends are going. I think that gives me a good advantage to deal with conflict and negotiation. That's what we deal with a lot on the county level and on a city level. So I'll talk a little about your guys' main priorities, I would say. Let's start with the environment and what I did as an experience. That's what you guys wanted. For the environment, we had Whiskey Creek. We had over 20 derelict boats and vessels, legally moored vessels in there and along our waterways in Dania Beach. Within a 1.5 years of me being elected, I got cleared the whole entire waterway of all of them by working with multiple agencies, including City of Hollywood, Hollywood PD, PSO, Coast Guard, and FWC. When it comes to development, that's a big issue here, right? Dania Beach was growing. We were going through a renaissance. We were going at an unprecedented pace. 12,000 rack units, we filled them all up. When we got 6,000 more rack units, under my leadership as mayor, I reduced the height and density on those 6,000 units. I reduced it in half to 7 units an acre and 50 units an acre in 7 stories as opposed to 14 stories because we need our infrastructure to catch up with the booming growth that we've had recently. When it comes to historical preservation, I negotiated for 2 years to purchase the Frost House, our historic Frost House on US 1, and we invested the most we ever have in historical renovation. And the biggest thing is this is a barrier island. Stuff goes bad really fast here. Who do you want? You want someone who's been through the hurricane, who's lived through Hurricane Andrew and on, who's lived here, who's signed a state of emergency twice for his city, whose great-grandmother was pregnant with his grandfather in the Dania Hotel in 1926 with a great storm, 4 feet of water under there? That's someone who knows how to deal with an emergency, and that's someone who knows how to pull resources together to get what you need. Thank you very much.
Where do I stand? Over here. Hey everybody, I'm Brian Perua, candidate for District 1 Commissioner. Born and raised in South Florida, I'm probably one of the few people, that's left, I guess, that's a native. My wife is right there, Julie Peruas. We're both Chaminade Madonna alumni. We raised our kids here in Hollywood as well. I live at 820 Harrison Street. Don't go egg my house, okay? I love this place. This is why I'm doing this. I'm not doing it for, I'm not looking for fame. I just really love Hollywood. I want to give back to the city. It's given me so very, very much. I started off, my career in the Florida Senate, working for the former Senate President of Florida. Upon his retirement, I went into federal law enforcement, did a stint there, and then I opened up, went to law school, opened up a law firm here. So I'm a small business owner, located 1 block from City Hall, so I can walk back and forth fairly quickly to commission meetings if you need me to, on the fly, not a problem. So at the end of the day, what are we trying to do here? We have some issues. When I knock on doors, I'm canvassing. The people are telling me, hey Brian, the issues that we're suffering from are flooding, these vacation rentals, and then we're also having issues with overdevelopment. Totally get it. My wife's family had a hotel on the beach for 25 years at Greenbrier. Used to be on South Surf Road. You may know that. We have very, very deep roots in this community. We really care about this barrier island. Like AJ said, when things go south here, they go south very, very, very fast. So what I want to do, or I want to see, is move quicker on that the stormwater project. Let's get it moving as quickly as possible. What happens when we do that? Well, couple of things. Well, the property values will go up. They will increase when we're resilient. Money goes up. People want to buy here. The insurance premiums will go down because there's less flood claims. I sue insurance companies for a living. So when you're making less claims, there's more competition, and then there's more people in the market to shop insurance. These are all amazing things. Other thing we're working on is vacation rentals. Enough with the people partying on a Tuesday. I work on Wednesday morning. I have a law firm. I got to go to work. So we're not down with that. So we got to stop them, work with police, work with the code enforcement guys as well. I have 3 endorsements. 1 is fire, 1 is police, and 1 is the civil service employees of the city of Hollywood. Thank you for your time. I'm an advocate. I want to advocate for you in City Hall. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here and on such short notice and taking time out of your schedule to be more informed. Many of you already know me. My name is Kat Uden. I have lived in District 1 for about 23 years. My husband and I live, work, and send our kids to school in District 1. I was a Broward County public school teacher for 15 years, most of those years right here in Hollywood in Sterling Elementary. And I discovered that I just was so passionate about the ocean and I wanted to save the oceans that I thought I would take a break from teaching to go save the oceans, and I have not gone back since 2018. I really enjoy working on environmental legislation. I've been doing that for the past almost decade, and I work on local, state, and federal policy for an environmental nonprofit, an international environmental nonprofit. In working with local, state, and federal legislation, I have worked with our members of Congress, our state legislature. I go to Tallahassee every year to educate our lawmakers and work to stop bad preemption bills, which we have successfully done in Tallahassee. As you know, preemption is a really big problem, taking away our local power. I've also worked with many different municipalities across South Florida, and in working with different cities, I can make comparisons and see what best practices are, what has worked well in other cities, and take those ideas back here to Hollywood. But most importantly, I've been very involved in our city government. I've been involved in our civic associations, our city advisory committees. I was chair of the Parks and Rec Advisory Committee because protecting our parks means a lot to me. And I was also on the Sustainability Advisory Committee. I graduated the Leadership Hollywood program with the Greater Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, learning about all aspects of our city and county. I did the Citizen Police Academy, so I did the program with our police department to learn all about public safety, which is important to me. But because of my environmental background, with flooding being the #1 issue in our district, I have been to so many flood resiliency and stormwater meetings across South Florida, and this will come in it will be so important going forward in our city. Thank you.
Okay, I'm the last one. Last night I was at the Publix. If you ever went shopping in Publix, a young circle, 5 minutes before closing, you see the most interesting people. Siobhan was there. I asked her, how's your mom doing? Tara was there. Amy was there. Hi, Amy. Kathy, Dibona, where is she? I'm here because she asked me to come. I'm looking at a room full of cat shoe hem, t-shirts, so there's nothing for me to gain here. But I'm going to read one of the ladies last night at Publix. She texted me something, and I want to read it. I hope it's short. Leadership has never been about being liked by everyone. Throughout history, many people who stood firmly for what they believed faced criticism, rejection, and misunderstanding. Jesus Christ was rejected by many despite preaching love, and Dr. Martin Luther King endured relentless opposition while pursuing justice and equity and equality. While no one's journey is the same, one lesson remains true. Doing what you believe is right often comes with criticism. Character is measured not by applause, but by the courage to stand firm when it's difficult. As our community chooses its next commissioner, look beyond popularity, look at integrity, commitment, and willingness to serve even when it's not the easy path. So how much time do I have? I have 30 seconds. So Peter Bobert is here, a former mayor. 8 years ago, I have a deja vu. I spoke about public safety on the Broadwalk, and there was, you know, Phyllis from Van Buren, you know her, and she sat on the bench every day for 30 years, and she started telling me she's not feeling uncomfortable, and everybody was laughing. I don't know, today nobody's laughing. But she got up, and she left, and I saw Peter Bobert was next to her, and you know what, Peter?
Mr. Feldman,
She told you, sir, I'm Phyllis, and you laughed at her. So 8 years now.
So, Mr. Feldman, your time is up.
My time is up, I'm leaving. So 8 years ago, I want you to look back. I lost to Carol Schuhan. It was a great battle, great campaign. She's a great
We
lady,
have to move
beautiful
on. We have so
smile.
many questions.
Okay, so there's nothing for me to gain here. Thank you very much. I have a great evening. And if you think it's a
So we have several questions that's going to go. We have several questions that are going to go to the city and several questions that are going to go to the county. But we have one to start that's going to affect all of us, okay? So I want to hear from the county and the city on this. And excuse me if I don't say this right, sargassum or seaweed, right? Everybody knows seaweed affects the beaches, affects tourism. I live on the beach, and I will tell you, last Sunday it was the least amount of people I've ever seen. The restaurants are telling me how bad they're doing because people are not coming to the beach. The maintenance cost of this, along with the turtles, this is really affecting everybody on the beach and eventually could affect value. So my question to all of you, city and county, what can you do to make this help us? And maybe explore some resources that could actually maybe use this material as a revenue source.
I'll start if that's okay. So this issue falls within the jurisdictional authority of the city. However, the county can do a lot more to assist. When it comes to removing it, that is the city. And that should have been done. If it hasn't been done, hopefully it's going to be done in the future. When it comes to reimagining the way we use that, you're not actually the first one. I've heard this idea and I've read about this. There are so many uses. we can have the county take a lead because it's not just Hollywood, it's Hollandale, it's Dania, it's the entire coast that's impacted. And the county can take a lead on reimagining the uses, the eco-friendly uses of that, of the plant.
Okay, we can go to AJ and then we'll finish with Carol. Try to alternate so everybody gets the first time.
Okay, well, yeah, this is a unique question when it comes to sargassum. First of all, sargassum is something that is naturally created, okay, in the ocean. And it does offer protection for certain sea creatures that live in that sargassum on the shoreline. So it is an environmental issue and also offers protection for sea turtles as well. So you have to be careful when you talk about just getting rid of sargassum because it's something that naturally occurs in nature. And I know that this year we've had a larger plume coming over from Africa and due to the temperature and all that, all right? But let's talk about the cost of raking the beaches. Dania Beach, we only have 800 yards of beach, all right? You guys have the rest. And it costs us about $180,000 a year to rake the beach and clean it up, okay? But if we add in removing sargassum from our contractor, it goes to like $2.5–3 million. That's a huge, huge increase in price, okay, when you talk about recycling it. And recycling it, right, we used to have Snyder Park, where they had the big sargassum recycling area. That's not there anymore. So I'm not even sure what the process is now with how they reuse or you know, try and find a new way to use sargassum. But there are issues, well, you have to process it still there. And there's a lot of issues that we face when it comes to seaweed and our natural environment. That's what we're constantly battling here. This is a coastal community, right? We can't move the beach away from here. And those are issues that we have to face when it comes to sea rise and it comes to raking the beaches. So either, you know, you have to find a more economical, feasible way to get rid of the sargassum weed, or, you know, there's issues where maybe you could push it further back on the beach and reuse it for recycling in the seagrass or whatnot. I'm not, you know, an expert on that, but what you do as a leader is you process all the potential options that you have and you make the best possible decision moving forward for your residents. You take the information that you have, listen to the experts, make a choice and move on. You don't have to kill yourself and just keep kicking the can down the road. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we pass it so that let the county people finish that first and we'll move on to the city.
So this has been a horrible year for sargassum. Sargassum is blooming in larger amounts because the temperature of the water is hotter than it should be, and fertilizer is being deposited in our oceans from all over the world, and that creates a perfect condition for what they call excessive sargassum blooms. Here in Hollywood, we have tried several creative ideas to deal with it. We looked at a pilot with a company that creates lumber out of sargassum, a company that created tennis shoes out of sargassum. The problem with the sargassum is it has plastic in it, and these pilot programs have not gone anywhere. Yes, Fort Lauderdale did take their sargassum to Snyder Park for a while. Environmentalists said that the pollution created by the trucks and the tractors to take the sargassum from the beach to Snyder Park was worse than anything we could do, leave it on the beach. In Hollywood, we try to turn the sargassum over and get it to be underneath of the sand to alleviate it to a certain degree, but this year, that is not working. It's too much. The concern that I have, if you look at some of the Caribbean islands to our south, their tourism industry is being really hurt. I've seen pictures of beaches with 4 feet of sargassum built up. Here, we cannot let that happen. I can assure you our Public Works Department is doing the very best that they can, but it is a huge budget buster, and we are working, and once I am at the county, I've sat on the Climate Change Task Force for many years. We've had lots of conversations on that county-wide task force about sargassum and creative ideas to handle it. It is a very concerning issue, and top scientists all over the world are working on it, and we will be at the forefront of the resolution.
I was hoping it was sarcasm, not sargassum, because I'm better with that. But I will tell you this, you know, my parents are from a third world country, Cuba, all right, I can tell you what, they dealt with a lot of sargassum over there. what I see when I travel with my wife through the Caribbean islands and other countries, they take the sargassum and they recycle it. They turn it into bricks in Mexico, and in Jamaica they're actually burying it. I don't think that's the best way to handle sargassum, but that's what I've seen when I travel internationally. That they take it in the morning, they bury it somewhere on the beach, and then it sits there. I don't know if that's a great idea because there's living organisms, like AJ did say. When you shake the sargassum, what's in there? Crabs and little fish. We don't want to kill them. So maybe they shake them first and then get rid of the sargassum. I'm not sure. But I can tell you it's an ongoing problem. I know some business owners and residents there are fed up with the smell because the living organisms are dying on the beach and no one's moving it. Maybe we can move it off to the side and then figure it out. But right now, I'm not going to eat chicken wings at Sahara if there's sargassum everywhere. The smell's going to be unbearable. But that's all I have on sargassum. We'll talk later. We'll try that.
All right, well, I think Carol and AJ stole a lot of what I was going to say. So because I work in the environment, I work with many different specialists, scientists that are working on this issue right now. In fact, I think Louis Gary just a couple days did a segment on his TV show about it. Like Carol said, as the water gets warmer and as we put more nutrients and fertilizers into our waters, we're going to see more of these algae blooms. This happens in Florida as well. I think actually one thing that we can do here locally on that note is to pass an ordinance with fertilizers. I know I convinced my HOA to stop using fertilizers during the rainy season at least, because that contributes to algae blooms in the waterways. But as you know, many of you know, nobody loves the beach more than me. No, I'm just saying, many of us love the beach. I'm there almost every day. If I could wave a magic wand and make the brown water and the smell go away, believe me, I would. Like AJ said, there are environmental reasons why the sargassum is important, mainly out in the water, but also sometimes on shore with the shorebirds because it has creatures in it that they're eating. So we have to be careful with that. You're not allowed to do large-scale removal in the water. A lot of people have suggested that because of the federal protections over it. It's in a critical fish habitat, mahi-mahi, and I think amberjacks. So what we have to do is go with the best available science. I'm always go with the best available science. There are a lot of studies going on right now about how to best deal with the seaweed and do it in a cost-effective manner. A lot of the ways that they were looking at before, they have seen that there are too many toxins, too much plastic in the seaweed in order to compost it, fertilize it. In fact, they banned the composting at one point. So right now they turn it into the sand in order to prevent erosion. I would like to look at months of the year that we don't have any sargassum and our beaches are pristine, to move those resources over to the months that we do have the sargassum. So that's one thing that I think that we can do, is to shift the resources and the funds from the months that we don't have any and the beaches are pristine, instead of tractoring for hours, and move that money and those resources over to the months where we really, really need it and the east winds are blowing it in, and we have a lot of it on the beach. By the way, west winds blow it out, east winds bring it in.
Thank you, Kat. Okay, now we're going to focus on cities. So you guys are off the hook for just a few minutes, but please stay seated. Okay, so our first city question will be coming from me, and then we're going to have some that the people that we polled came up with. So you'll be choosing those questions, by the way. But my question is, which flooding, drainage, utility, or storm preparedness improvements should the city prioritize first for District 1?
Well, I'm impressed with the stormwater project. It's going very, very quickly. I look at it and watch it every single day from where I live. I report on it. I was reporting on Hollywood Beach TV. I'm not doing that anymore. He's running against me, so I decided not to do it anymore. It's helping him too much. But yeah, so my father worked on the stormwater project in Golden Beach about 25 years ago. Everything that these folks, or Carol and the dais here in Hollywood have done, it works. It's just very expensive. I'm impressed at the speed that they're moving now. We have a seawall. I mean, literally behind my house, we have a seawall now, and that road used to flood daily. It doesn't flood anymore. It's impressive to see that in action. I went and spoke to the men and women that were working on that seawall, and they spoke Spanish, so I spoke to them in Spanish, and they showed me how there was gaping holes in the bottom of the seawall. So they put these sheet piles down about 20 feet into the bedrock, and now the water's not coming in anymore. It's unbelievable that it's working. Once the flap gates come in and they keep them operational, we're gonna have a pretty resilient area. It's not forever, but my parents haven't flooded in 25 years, since they kicked me out of the house. Now I'm flooding over here, but I'm impressed thus far. We just got to move a little quicker before that next storm hits. And the insurance companies are already talking about it. They're already saying, oh, Hollywood's got their stuff together. There's more competition already with insurers coming into the area to sell insurance at a cheaper price. And then again, like I mentioned earlier, that's going to only raise our property values even more. This is the important thing that we all care about is resiliency, protecting our families, our homes, and making sure that our nest egg grows. That's it. I'm almost set. No more than 30 seconds.
Okay. All right, so people who have been working on resiliency have been beating the drum for many, many years, decades, that we needed to prepare for the water that is coming. And it's because we have elected officials who didn't listen to this earlier, that we didn't have a stormwater master plan that was adopted until much later. We should have been acting much earlier when it comes to sea level rise and flooding and resiliency. So we have that stormwater master plan now. I must say that if you were attending the Lake Civic Association meeting when the contractor who is doing the stormwater master plan came in, I have a lot of faith in our stormwater master plan. A lot of work went into it, and I'm so glad that it was passed. But we need to work with our county and federal agencies in order to advance these projects. There are streets that are really suffering. I've knocked on doors where somebody lost a dozen cars at one house. These streets need to be prioritized. These people's houses are far off the ground and they're still getting water in their homes multiple times. So prioritizing these areas, which I saw in the stormwater master plan, pumps, storage, we need to, every property that we develop or that we look at, we should be looking on how we're going to create drainage, contain the stormwater, and hold it until days that we can release it and it won't be a problem. Every property, maybe even school board properties, there's some way that we can contain the water and store it for later. Development is going to be big when it comes to, going forward with flooding. If we don't develop properly, we are going to be counterintuitive to the efforts that we're doing right now. So we need to make sure that we're developing in a way that is resilient for the future. And I've been working on that for many, many years. So we need somebody who is going to advance these projects, understand what we're in for in the future, and make sure that this is at the forefront. Thank you.
Thank you, Kat. Now we have, put your questions from the public into the glass jar, and we're going to ask each candidate to choose one. So let's start first with Kat because Ryan went first. So this is small business support. Many small businesses, including some on the Broadwalk, are struggling right now with low customer traffic. What specific steps would you take to support local small businesses, improve foot traffic, and help them stay viable?
That's my question first? Okay. All right, so I've met with business, you're speaking specifically on the Broadwalk?
Yes.
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 So I've spoken with business owners on the Broadwalk. One thing is we want our beach to be, and again, I'm such a big advocate for our beach. I want to see our beach succeed, and I want to see it be safe, clean, and family friendly. People are going to want to come here if they feel safe, if it's clean, and if it's family friendly. So that needs to be at the forefront. I think we can do a much better job of promoting our beach and our ocean. We are so lucky to have such a beautiful beach, and sometimes when I'm out on my paddleboard, I post pictures and videos of our ocean, and there are people that live in our city that think that it's not Hollywood Beach. Like, I've never seen the ocean that clear. That's not our beach. I don't believe you. So I think we can do a much better job of promoting our beach and how beautiful it is. I would like to see more ecotourism coming to our beach. I would like to see, I find it unbelievable that we don't have a scuba shop. We have a beautiful reef offshore. We have these mermaid statues offshore. We could be advertising our beach as the eco-friendly place to go to enjoy the ocean, to paddleboard, to scuba, to snorkel. We need to take advantage of this. We also need to make sure that we are enforcing laws so that it is a clean, safe, and family-friendly environment on the beach. As far as, a lot of the other, this is a long question. Parking is one thing on the beach that I've heard business owners talk about. They need to have, areas for their customers to park, and we need to bring our local, our local residents here, promote the beach more, advertise the businesses so that they want to come here, and we have local traffic, because in the summers when our snowbirds leave, they need to have those customers there.
You pick your own question and I will read it. You chose traffic, parking, and resident access. What specific steps would you take to improve traffic flow, parking access, and pedestrian safety in District 1? Also, please include the proposal that has been talked about for a long time with parking on resident-only parking. Would you support resident-only parking during certain hours of the heavily impacted areas?
Well, my wife will tell you I have parking anxiety. If I have to park somewhere, I call ahead to make sure I can park my car, and where do I park, and how much is parking. It drives me nuts. I don't think we should be paying for parking as Hollywood residents. Give us a certain amount of time, 2-3 hours, to run in, grab that pizza, have a beer, and then get out of there. I think it's completely and utterly unfair to be taxing the residents every time we park downtown or park here at the beach. The discounts aren't enough. It's getting way too expensive. I heard somebody paid like $40 the other day during a high impact weekend to park their car at the beach. I refuse to do that. I think I mentioned it to the commissioners as well, that we should have free golf cart parking in downtown Hollywood. That would alleviate a lot of those spaces for people who are coming from out of town. They can pay for parking. We shouldn't pay for parking if we don't need to. We can. Back when we were kids, all around that arts park, it was free parking. Hundreds of parking spaces that we lost. I used to go there every single weekend. Free parking, have a great time. It was awesome. Now, can't park anymore. They took all the parking spots away. Where are you going to park? I told them, hey, let the golf carts park for free inside the park, and then it's all open. In my neighborhood, there are hundreds of golf carts. You know what? We'll slow things down, make it more pedestrian friendly. People can slow it down, relax. That's how we do things. Slow down that energy, that speed. Make sure people are enjoying the moment, the simple things in life. That's all I got.
Thank you. No, that's it. That's it. Now we're turning to the county. Okay, now we've got the county. We're going to start with the general question that the board came up with. District 6 includes Hollywood, Hallandale Beach, Dania Beach, and nearby communities. What process would you use to identify each city's needs, distribute county resources fairly, and improve coordination between the county and local governments? And we're starting with AJ.
Okay, well, that's a hard 2-minute answer, but District 6 includes Hollywood, parts of Hollywood, Dania, Hallandale Beach, West Park, Pembroke Park, Davie, Fort Lauderdale, so small little slivers of those cities. What we can do to unify all those cities is to work regionally, I would say. What each city has, they can offer another, I would say. When it comes to certain cities, they're going to be impacted differently when it comes to things that are coming up with the legislation, right? So West Park's going to be impacted by this property tax a lot more than Pembroke Park. They're neighboring cities, right? Dania Beach, we're going to be impacted by this property tax as well. I'm sure this is going to be a question in the future as well. But what the county can do to help these cities, that's basically what the question was. What can the county do to improve these cities?
Fair share.
A fair share, okay. Well, each city functions differently, I would say, but the county should definitely give attention to all of these cities. When it comes to building our economic prosperity, when it comes to our transportation, when it comes to our parks that are in some of these cities, the county parks, that's where we can improve to make the cities enhance overall. And when it comes to economic activity, we could support these cities with the programs that the county has already created to help bring in high-paying jobs, new industry into the area, and focus more on the neglected areas that have not really felt like they've been helped in the past. Of course, Hollywood Beach, everybody focuses on Hollywood Beach. How much attention does West Hallandale Beach get? Not as much. So we definitely have to give equality to what we pay attention to, and we have to be more transparent government to show the residents where they are benefiting from county improvements. Thanks.
Thank you.
That's actually a very good question, and you know why? Because while I was at the county, I always felt that Hollywood, Hollandale, Dania, West Park, south of Fort Lauderdale, were like the stepchild of the county. And you can see that in the way Visit Lauderdale spends their money and their attention. They're promoting Fort Lauderdale, and God bless them, there are some good people there, but they forget about us. And that's a fact, and I have a lot of folks that work at the county. Some of them may admit it, some of them may not. So there's a lot of opportunity to have a forceful voice advocating on our behalf at the county. Specifically, someone that knows how the system works, how the levers of power work, and how you can get more resources down here. I'll give you an example. 2 years ago when we all flooded, I was at the county and I called the mayor of Hollywood, I called the mayor of Hollandale, and I said, what do you need? They said, well, you have some mobile pumps, can you deploy them? I went to county administration, I asked for that, and the response was, well, let them put a request through the bureaucratic system, you know, agency to agency, all that. Follow the bureaucratic process. Meanwhile, businesses and people were floating, literally. So what I'm saying is we have to reimagine the county, the way it operates, the way it collaborates from the bottom up. I don't recall many of the folks that have been on daises in Dania or Hollywood coming to the county and saying, how can we work together? That's what we need. We need to collaborate. We need to sit down and come up with solutions that include all of us. That is a problem. This siloed mentality has hurt us as a county, has hurt parts of our district, because we are oftentimes missing out an opportunity to sit down, collaborate, and not just the county, bring the state and even the federal government to the table. And that is why not only my capacity at the county, but even as I was serving here for the Civic Association, we brought FDOT. We brought our state representative, we brought the mayor, and we brought the chief resiliency officer at the county here, because you deserve more.
Thank you. So I would start off by saying anyone that has been involved with the flooding along A1A in particular knows that the county has worked extraordinarily close with the city for the past many years. The county, the city, our CRA, FDOT, that's the partnership that you see happening right now. So I feel very strongly that we have an excellent partnership, and because of that partnership, you are seeing huge infrastructure projects happening along A1A right now. Without that partnership, who knows where we would be? It's because of the effort of the City Commission, the CRA, working hand in hand with our county commission, our county commissioner on the beach, that this has happened. Now, the question, as I recall, was what would I do to ensure that each of these cities gets their fair share? I would do exactly what I do now as a city commissioner. I will listen to the constituents. Any of you that live in District 1, I think it's fair to say I listen and I take that information back to my city staff and my commission, and I try to help resolve problems. As someone up here said, each city is unique. Each city has very different problems. It's not going to be an even distribution of different assets because we all have different needs. And so what I will do is exactly what I do now. I will meet with civic associations. I will meet with city commissioners, as our county commissioner does today. I will reach out, find out what are the issues, what are the problems. And then, because I have been involved in Broward County for 8 years on the Solid Waste Authority, on the Metropolitan Planning Organization, on the Climate Change Task Force, and many, many other county-wide organizations. I chair several of those. I am very familiar with the assets that the county has, the ability of the county to incorporate cities into programs, etc. And I will bring that information, that knowledge, those assets, and that funding back to the many cities that constitute Broward County District 6. Thank you.
Okay, now we have our surprise question. So, emergency preparedness. What should Broward County do better to prepare residents, condo associations, businesses, and vulnerable communities before hurricanes, flooding events, or other emergencies?
So I feel so well equipped to answer that question, having been the city commissioner for one of the most vulnerable sections of Broward County. Anyone in this room, I think, knows that every year we have emergency preparedness presentations right here in this building to make sure our residents know exactly what to do when a hurricane comes. And we will continue to do that. There are unincorporated sections of Broward, but we will work with each city to make sure that they have the knowledge that they need to prepare for a hurricane. With respect to what I think the county can do better, there is a lot of confusion with our city emergency preparedness and emergency managers over the years as to who gets to call the evacuations, who gets to decide. Amazingly, a lot of what happens in a hurricane is decided by the Broward County School Board, and I just saw our Broward County School Board representative, Maura Bowman, here. Thank you, Maura. But a lot of what happens in a hurricane has to do with the shelters, and that has to do with whether schools are being closed, etc. So I think one of the very early things that I would like to see is better coordination between the county emergency managers, the school board, and the city emergency managers. It's not if we get hit, it's when we get hit. It happened in 1926, and everything was wiped out here. It's gonna happen again. Thank goodness we have much better building codes and things like that to keep our residents safe. But I think there's a real opportunity for better coordination. But the main thing is to make sure residents have access to hurricane preparedness information in the city of Hollywood. Right now, all of you should go on the city website, take a look at what you need to do. There's step-by-step information, what you should have in your house, and we will make sure, I'm sure it is also available on the county website right now, but that has to be distributed. And most importantly, when you are told to evacuate, evacuate. Thank you.
Okay, you chose coastal resiliency and storm preparedness. Flooding, beach erosion, sea level rise, drainage, storm preparedness are long-term concerns for our area. What county resilience actions would you prioritize, and how would you coordinate them with our city to move us forward?
I've had the honor and privilege of being a member of the Sierra Club for some time. For a while before deciding to run, I also chaired the political committee. For the past few years, I've spent time with my wife and our 3.5 and 5.5-year-old on the beach planting seaweeds. Sea oaks with ligati. I live here. I'm raising my family here. This is personal. For those that may not know, while I work as an official at the county, I'm not a politician. So for me, I'm not looking for a promotion. I do this because I love the beach, and I want to protect it. I want to protect it for myself, for your children, and for your grandchildren, and for my own children, and for my own children. So what the county can do a lot. Right now, we have a response that is somewhat, in my opinion, it's not aggressive enough. We have one of the most sensitive areas in the country. And what I would do differently is I would advocate at the state and the federal level for additional funding. Because while we are very focused locally here in Hollywood on what a commissioner or what the municipality is doing relative to one building or one parcel of land, which I think is very important, I think the big picture is much more serious. And we risk our way of life. So going back to my initial concept of collaborative leadership, we need more aggressive leadership from the county, and we need to go to those folks who have the money to be able to address these. On infrastructure, we're now installing 4 pumps here. The problem is we haven't been able to maintain even the infrastructure we have. So before we come back to you and say, hey, can you give us more money so we can put more? I was at City Hall when the CRA study showed that 80% of the current infrastructure here on the beach, 80% of the pipes that are leading to the intercoastal were clogged with sand, debris, and plastics. So if we're not able to maintain what we currently have, it is hard to come back to you, the taxpayers, and say, give us more. So let's maintain what we have, and let's go to those agencies and partners that have the resources so we can invest much more into the future.
Thank you.
Put away all my stuff so I can get the hell out.
Hey. county services access. What would you do to make county services easier for residents to understand, access, and track the help that they need?
Okay, well, I can tell you what I did as the mayor of Dania Beach. I introduced something called the Pioneer, and it is a quarterly newsletter that we distribute to all of our residents, and it gives you updates on what we're doing with our budget. Where's your tax money going? How's your tax money breaking down? What events are going on in the city? What parks do we have going on? What recreational activities have? What season are we in? And by providing that to our residents, it opened up a whole new door of people being more engaged and more involved in our city government. We could do that exact same thing on the county. You know, maybe not a newsletter. I know each individual commissioner does their own update, but some of them are very complicated and it's very kind of focused towards just their districts. If we could do something overall, what the county provides, right? When it comes to our parks, our libraries, our transportation, say what updates we have going on. Say that we have a new plan in order for this, whether it's resiliency or a new primo plan with the transportation or what's going on with the solid waste authority. The more informed residents are, the more engaged they become and the more pleased they are to be a part of that community. So if we show them that the county does have many resources going on, and especially when it comes to where we are when it comes to our public safety as well. And where do your tax dollars go to BSO? Just to identify where their tax dollars go from that giant budget that we have in the county of over $8 billion, I think that'll bring them very informed and it'll make them feel more part of the community. Thanks.
Thank you. Now we have two questions that are going to be shared, so that means everybody's going to answer these questions. I know that everybody here is thinking about this, so using 1301 South Ocean Drive as an example, how would you evaluate whether a major development is appropriate for our coastal community and what public process should be required before any final decision would be made? We'll start with the city, because the county was unsaid. So we'll start with the city.
Waiting for them to talk about their big home.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure, be happy to. Using 1301 South Ocean Drive, the building that we are sitting in, I believe, as an example, how would you evaluate whether a major development is appropriate for our coastal community and what public process should be required before any final decision is made?
Good question. I will say that I'm a big fan of and supporter of referendums. I think that anything that is this significant should be put to the voters. I believe that strongly. You know, we're figureheads or wannabe figureheads. These guys are kind of, you know, really big time. I'm little time, but I could tell you that the people should be the ones choosing where they want to build, what they want to build. Just because I feel a certain way doesn't mean I'm going to vote a certain way. You know, I'm going to vote with the people that have elected me and the way they feel. 1301, to me, I've been knocking on doors and there's a lot of animosity towards it on both sides. Some people want it, some people don't care. What I've been doing is, let's change the conversation. Forget about 1301, let's talk about 101 North Ocean Drive. The Hollywood Beach Resort, where my wife used to work at the ice cream store. Let's talk about that place. It's been an eyesore since I've been a kid. When we used to go there 37, 38 years ago, it was a disaster back then. Sure, we had fun. Sure, I got assaulted in the parking garage trying to get out of there after a movie, but that's just the way it was. We need to refocus on that. You want to bring better people to the beach, meaning to spend more money, to have a better time, to change the clientele, the dynamics of the beach. We got to get something there that is going to be similar to a Biltmore type situation, of breakers, you know, keep it majestic, keep it beautiful, make it modern. But that's what we really have to be focused on, not this. This, if the people don't want it, move on. Let's get over there. I've been talking to the powers that be, and they're all starting to see it my way. I think it's under contract now, so I'm very excited. Hopefully a deal gets done. I think a deal should have been done years upon years ago. Every time I drive on Hollywood Boulevard, it's super sad to see that. This will be the next whatever, golf destination, beach destination, you name it, it's going to happen here in Hollywood next. Once that takes off, and it will take off because everybody in this room is for redeveloping or fixing 101 North Ocean Drive.
All right, so you know that if somebody's running for office, they can tell you anything. They can tell you whatever you want to hear. I believe in everything that you believe in, right? But what you have to look at is what somebody has done prior to filing to run for office. Many of you know that for years, I have been a leader in communication, fighting for transparency, open government, and giving the public a voice. I have always posted when meetings are, how to participate, who to get in touch with. And I have fought in City Hall for, over the pandemic when they wouldn't let us speak on video. Like I said, I work on legislation all across South Florida. Other cities let me be on Zoom, raise my hand, unmute myself to speak. I was able to read my own public comment. Our city was not letting us do that. There is a long way to go in communication, respect, and trust with the community and residents, and that is what you will get with me. It doesn't matter if I have a long list of qualifications, which I do, but my most important quality is that I've always stood by you. I've always given you the heads up when something is happening, how to participate, when to go to the meeting, who to talk to. So when these community decisions come up, we have to involve the community and there has to be trust there. And we have a chance in this next election to turn it around. We have 3 empty seats. We need city commissioners who will stand up for the people. That is what you're elected for. It's not about what I want. It's not about what the developer lobbyists want. It's about what the community wants. And that's what we have to remember when we're up there. It's really important right now in Tallahassee, they just voted that an elected official locally can give away your public land. It's so important this election to elect someone who has proven that they will protect your public land. Thank you.
Well, yeah, goes to the county, because other than live local, if these projects will come to you, what does the county say about them?
So it's a great question, a difficult question, but for me, I can tell you what I did at the city. When I first became a city commissioner, a developer would come to the city, they would go to the preliminary meeting, they would go to the technical meeting, and that would be that. As a result of me being there, we now have an ordinance that requires developers to bring to the public notice of everyone within 500 feet of a project. The developer must meet with those community members. They have to send out the notice. And last year we increased that to 2 notices before the building can be approved. The community, as a result of that ordinance, which exists because members of my civic association asked me to bring it to the commission, and I'm thankful to my fellow commissioners who agreed to pass it. You cannot now build a building in Hollywood without meeting with your community that is impacted by the new development, and it's huge. Are we still struggling? Of course, but it gives our community 2 opportunities now to provide input to those developers so we can try to make things better. With respect to this project, I agree with Kat Uden. She was on the forefront of fighting this and making sure that this community knew that their community center was going to be taken from them and replaced potentially with a new one, we don't know about that now, with a private condominium on top of it. And I immediately received, once it was out in the open as to what was happening and everybody really understood it, I have fought for this piece of property for over 6 years. And other than Ms. Uden and myself, I don't think there's someone up here who has done that. And it doesn't mean that nothing could go here, nothing would be appropriate. What it means is we listened to our community and the community didn't want it. And that's what a representative government is about. That is what democracy is about. And that is what I will continue to do as a county commissioner. I will listen to you and I will act upon what you want. Thank you.
Hollywood Beach has a certain soul, and I don't think we should lose that ever. There's a beating heart, and that is the Broadwalk. There's a certain aesthetic of the beach that we all love. It's part of the reason why we all fell in love with it, right? I don't think we should lose that. But we also have to consider something else. If, as many of you, if we believe that money is speech, then I would like to respectfully offer a challenge for every single one of you. When you have a chance tonight or tomorrow, go to the Supervisor of Elections office, pull up every single financial record to see who has received by far the most money from developers and lobbyists in this race. And you might be surprised. Also, who has received money from the very developer, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that, from the very lobbyist who has been pushing, the lawyer who has been pushing this project, because I'm not the one. So what I'm saying is, and I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, I'm simply saying if we want to recapture this place and give it back to the people, we either elect people that are funded by you and neighbors and activists and families and grandmas, whether it's $25 or $100, or we go to those who have been funded by thousands and thousands and thousands by the very same people some of us criticize, right? And so that's my challenge for you, and I believe we can do more, we can do better, but unless we take some of that money out of our political discourse, it's going to be hard, it's going to be very hard to take power back from the very special interests we criticize. That's all I have on that.
Okay, well, I definitely do believe in best practice, and I'm very happy to hear that Hollywood took over one of those best practices. In Dania Beach, you have to give a notification within 1,000 feet, and we actually have a public meeting where people come in and they can give in their input to the developer and to the commission. So, 1,000 feet though. But we've been doing that for several years, okay? I'm very happy Hollywood took that over, that's great. When it comes to 1301 project, we can talk about 1301 project. Do I believe that private development should be built on public land? Absolutely not. But this problem, I'm not going to tell Hollywood how to do their business, okay? I don't expect them to do my business as a leader. It's a very complicated legal issue. It's complex. It was land that was given to developer. It's coming back. The city passed a specific ordinance, and then the county messed up, and it's a Scribner's error, and it's back and forth. Okay, that's what I follow from my city. Okay, but I don't believe that you should ever build private development on a public land. And I don't like the narrative also that, hey, we're in a deficit. We have to keep up with our we have to keep up with our pensions and whatnot, so let's build this, and that'll help us just for a little bit, right? Then what's next after that, okay? Like I said, I held the line on overdevelopment in my city. I ran on that, on sustainable development, and I delivered by repassing real policy unanimously. We cut down from 14 stores to 7 stores. We cut down from 100 units an acre to 50 units an acre. And each case could be reviewed, a case-by-case basis, to get a variance from the city commission. And if the city commission thinks that you could build 100 stories there and 1,000 units per acre, then so be it. Okay, we can approve that there. But overall, you can't just open up the can of worms and let it go out of control. And that's what I've been trying to do in Dania Beach, is hold the line and keep that control. You still have to go through all the proper processes, and I would enforce those processes as well. But that's how I feel about development, about 1301, private land, public land. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next shared question, we're going to start with Kat, and this question is for all of you. If the state property tax changes, reduces local revenue, what would you do beyond the traditional choices of raising taxes or cutting services? How would you use innovation, technology, economic development, or new revenue opportunities to keep essential services well funded?
Yeah, that's a great question. So as many of you know, or hopefully all of you know, there will be a property tax amendment on our next ballot, and local municipalities are worried that it will drastically decrease the budget, and where are we going to make up that shortfall? That's a great question, because a lot of the narrative has been around a tax shift, where you'll raise rates other places like parking, permits, other fees. I'm sure a lot of cities would do that. Obviously, I would prefer not to do that. I feel that it will probably pass. I think it will pass in Florida, so we have to do what we can do in order to make it easier for the residents. And I like the phrase economic development because, like I said, our beach is beautiful. We have a gold mine here. There's so many ways that we can market the beach and make it successful, make our downtown successful too. That doesn't involve raising these rates, or building massive towers. Taller is not always better. There's so many things that we can do to improve the beach and the downtown that doesn't involve building a tower. Okay, so we have to market our beach appropriately. We can, find other revenue sources, but I think it's also a good opportunity to tighten the belt and take a look at our budget and see what we can cut. There's always room for improvement, right? And that's where the community is going to come in. What do we value? What services do we want to keep? And what what products or services or things can we cut from the budget? I think it's a great opportunity to take a really deep dive into the budget and see what we can cut. Like I said, I have a feeling that it's going to pass, so it's something that we need to do. But again, market our city properly. We have a beautiful beach. It's a gold mine. Take advantage of it and see what we can do that doesn't involve raising the cost of living for residents, because it's really tough right now, even for people that make a good salary. Thank you.
So just to reiterate, I am endorsed by fire, police, and the municipal employees. It's impressive that they interviewed me and I was able to swim in my direction. Not sure why, but I guess they can see I'm a business owner, so I get it. I hire people, I fire people. Unlike a lot of people who never done that before, it's hard. If you're firing an attorney or firing someone, they have a family to feed. It's never an easy thing to do. And we tightened our belts as well. I had to let go probably 10 people this year just because things got tight at the office. I understand what it is to make a living on your own, and my wife has seen me struggle. We've struggled. We're like everybody else, especially small businesses here in Hollywood. At the end of the day, I did it right along with fire to understand what they go through in a 12-hour shift. I don't think anyone else up here has done that, but I did it. And I went up there and I felt what they feel, and I see their struggles. The more buildings that we build, what happens? That call now that used to take an hour, is taking 2 hours. You ever try to extract a senior citizen from the 29th floor with 4 men going up there with a gurney? It is a nightmare. So these are things that, yeah, we can use technology. We can do this. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if we can use technology to get a gurney up there with four people, or to reel the hose back in after you pulled it out 300 yards. It's taxing on these people. It's taxing. And the only way to really feel it is to be out there with them. Like I'm going to do right along with police to figure out what they need and what resources they need. We want to give them more resources, more technology. Maybe we won't have to hire as many officers because now we have drones that can go out there maybe and disperse the crowd before the officers come. There's all kinds of ways we can skin a cat, but really tightening our belt is something we have to look at, maybe do an internal audit to see where we're spending money, and then move resources around. Where they're not being used wisely, let's move them somewhere else where they are being used wisely. Thank you.
We start with Carol on this, or should we start with AJ? Eugene, okay.
What's the question?
You know the question, you want me to?
Would you mind repeating it?
Sure.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Okay. If state property tax changes and reduce local revenue, what would you do beyond the traditional choices of raising the taxes or cutting services? How would you use innovation, technology, economic development, or new revenue opportunities to keep essential services well funded?
So first of all, safety is non-negotiable, and I'll use this opportunity to announce the fact that the 3,500 men and women who serve in law enforcement under the FOP banner, the Fraternal Order of Police, just announced that they're trusting me as the next county commissioner. They just endorsed our candidacy, and I'm very grateful for their trust. That means a lot. That's a sacred responsibility, because just like they swear to protect you, we here have the same sacred responsibility to make sure that they have the resources necessary to protect all of us, our children, our seniors, and every working family in this community. So, public safety non-negotiable. When it comes to fire, similarly. I don't think we have to, it's a non-negotiable. We recently had a fire on the beach. It took too long for some folks to get the rescue they needed. And that's not because the amazing men and women, that's because they didn't have the tools they needed. So my point is, Safety is non-negotiable. Number two, on economic development, because governments are really great at spending your money. They're amazing at it. I've been in it, and I know they spend a lot of money they shouldn't be spending, and on things they shouldn't be spending. Like almost $1 million to promote Broward County in California. Go figure. They've done that on a float. They spent. So what I'm saying is there's so many opportunities to improve the way the county and perhaps the municipality, but I'm not going for a job on the city. I know the county, and I want to go back to the county. There's a lot of opportunity to streamline processes and create efficiencies and feedback loops. We don't really have them in the county. Number two, economic development. We got to attract investment, not necessarily on the beach. I'm not talking about the beach. In our region, we got to invest in innovation. We got to regionalize this entire model. Right now, we're very siloed on economic development. We got to talk to Miami and Palm Beach County to attract high-wage jobs to our area. Part of the reason why folks can no longer afford to live here is because our wages are incredibly depressed compared to many other parts of the country. So innovation, technology, and finding ways to acclimate all that, not on the beach, but in the areas of the county that are most opportune for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm a little more optimistic than Kat up here. I think that once residents understand what this amendment means, that it will not pass. It takes 60% of the voters to approve this. And I think tonight's an opportunity for you to understand what that might mean. For Broward County, $330 million loss to their budget year one. In Hollywood, $15 million loss to the budget here in year one. Now, many of you have lived through financial urgency here in Hollywood. We are just getting our head above water. This is not a time to cut. We're finally seeing improvements in parks, improvements in roadways, and the same is really true at the county. If you'll recall, when the state DOGE started, they started in Broward County. And you know what they found? Of course, there's going to be one-offs. But for the most part, the state who came to Broward looking for fault found almost none. Broward County has no debt, unlike the city of Hollywood, which has large GO bonds and things like that, which we needed to get to where we are today. So I think that we really need to think hard about this. Will you save some property taxes? Yes. But will your property values go down because the city and the county are unable to pay for parks, to pay for roads, to provide great safety, security, and police and fire and lifeguards? So when you go to the polls in November, you cannot just think short term. You have to think long term. $1,000 or $2,000 savings in your property tax this year may be so helpful, but that could result in a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 loss in the value of your home. So that's number one. But number two, I think there's ample opportunity within Broward County and within every city in Broward County to look for opportunities, economic opportunities, particularly building much needed housing along our transit corridors. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, this referendum, you have to be proactive and prepare like it's going to pass, okay? So before I start talking about cutting the fat, let's talk about our economic engines, okay? Our two largest economic engines in the county are Port Everglades and the airport. All right, there's a lot of room there for growth. We're talking about the deepening and widening of Port Everglades. I've been on the Port Everglades action team ever since I've been in office for the last 4 years, talking about the deepening and widening of Port Everglades. It's also the largest coral restoration project that mankind has ever seen, from what I'm told, from NOAA, okay? So there's a lot of opportunity in the port. Those generate billions of dollars between the port and the airport, and I think the county could see some of those revenues. So let's look at making money first instead of cutting. But you want to talk about cutting, there's a lot that we could cut in the county, I would say. You know, they're talking about building a $400 million or $500 million new county headquarters, right? And they were talking about buying Spirit Airlines for $100 million, even though it's worth $250 million. It just seems like they don't really have it together when it comes to creating a new county center. I've been in that center since I was a little kid, and I was a courier over there also throughout my teenage and college years. So I've been in that center a lot. It still functions. The county government can still function in that center. So do I think we need to spend $200, $300 million on it? No, I don't think we do right now, especially at this time of need. When it comes to our largest budget item on the county commission, it's first responders, it's BSO. I've been at the head of the table negotiating with the sheriff for everyone's favor, for first responders' favor, for the city's favor, for the taxpayers' favor. And that's what we have to do. We have to bring the sheriff to the negotiation table, and everywhere that we can save without sacrificing our very much needed resources, I think there's some room there to be done, but it has to be done with constructive negotiation. That it's not easy conversations that are going to be had, but it's possible. So you have to be positive about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have one final question for everyone. We're going to start with Carol because she started the first question. So here's the final closing question this evening. What is the one specific commitment you are willing to make tonight to the residents that can be measured 1 year from now if you're elected? And how could our community best help you succeed with your initiatives?
It's a great question. I think the commitment that I make to all of you and to all of the residents, not even just in Broward District 6, but to all of the residents in all of Broward County, because once elected, I'll represent all of them, is to be a voice for them and to be a receptacle to listen to issues that they're having in their community. And I've already started that work, not only in Hollywood, but as I'm knocking on doors in Dania, in West Park, in Pembroke Park. People have real concerns, many of which have to do with affordability. And I think that what you can do for me is be the voice. Come to me. Let me be the person that can collect the data, activate it, just as I have in Hollywood. I have represented you to the best of my abilities. I have represented the residents and the businesses in Hollywood, not just Hollywood District 1, but Hollywood across the board. I'm so proud of what I've accomplished with the help of everyone on the commission and an amazing city staff, and I am extremely excited to take my skill set, that's engineering, law, and having the 8 years as a Hollywood City Commissioner, the largest city in District 6 of the county. So Hollywood has almost $1 billion budget, which is basically the size of the discretionary fund within the Broward County budget. So I am the one person up here who has had experience with a budget that size, who has worked with the county for the past 8 years and continues to do so as of today. And I'm really, really excited. And I just want to thank all of you who have supported me with your time, with your dollars, with your hearts, with your support, and just letting me know that you appreciate how the past 8 years has gone in District 1 for you. And I will continue to be there for you, continue to fight for you, and continue to represent you to the very best of my ability. Thank you.
My commitment is simple. I will always listen. I believe government too often talks at people, doesn't talk with people, nor does it listen very well. So my commitment is to listen to you. And if you want to ask someone whether I'm a good listener, my wife is right here at the end. You're more than welcome to ask. To listen, because I'm uniquely qualified because I have been in county government all these years. I've developed the relationships and I know the levers of county government. I have a lot of respect for my counterparts here. But county government is a very different beast. So unless you understand how the budget works, how those programs are designed to function, unless you're willing to challenge the status quo, unless you're willing to advocate aggressively so we can bring more resources for infrastructure, for resiliency, for safety, unless you have the depth of knowledge and the relationships you need so that the folks at the state and in other governmental agencies are willing to come and sit down, unless you have the relationships at the municipal level. Keep in mind, this is a collaborative body. There's 9 county commissioners. You're only one. You always need 4 more people in order to get anything done. And when you already have those relationships, it's very different. Additionally, you need strong relationships at the municipal level. And for that reason, I'm so grateful that the gentleman sitting behind there, Mr. Commissioner Peter Hernandez, has endorsed me I'm very grateful that, and I'm going to make this announcement here, Mayor Levy has decided to endorse me recently. I'm very grateful that a commissioner on Mr. Ryan's dais has endorsed me. I have built these relationships with a lot of the individuals sitting on these daises because they have seen me work. They may not agree with me on every issue. I have spoken, for example, on some issues, and we do have disagreements.
Time.
However, my commitment is to work with you and with everyone, every stakeholder, to deliver results.
Just to be sure, the question was about something that I've been working on that I could bring.
What is one specific commitment you are willing to make tonight to residents that they can measure 1 year from now if you're elected? And how can the community best help you succeed with your initiative?
Great. Okay, so wonderful question. I would have to say for the last 4 years I've been on the Broward County Solid Waste Authority, and we have been working regionally to get 28 of the 31 cities in Broward County to sign a facilities amendment, which is a master plan with how we handle recycling and compost and disposing of our waste and transporting that waste for the next 5, 10, 20, 40 years, okay? So right now we're getting this passed throughout our cities. It passed unanimously in my city, and I know that it's coming before other cities, so I think we're like halfway there, okay? So once that passes, but the county already passed it also. But once I get up on the county level, I will see to it and follow through with what we planned in that master plan and support it as best I can from my county level when it comes to solid waste, okay? We're trapped in between the Everglades and the Atlantic Ocean. And it's a very sensitive land that we have, and the way that we dispose of our waste is much different from Dade and Broward, from West Palm Beach and Dade County. And I like to say we have to have a short-term plan, which is immediately start our recycling. We only recycle at like a 30% rate. Our goal is to get to a 70% rate. And that's something that I could get done right away. And I could have the community help me accomplish that goal by informing them, having them inform their neighbors and carry it on. So I would say that's a specific answer to your specific question. I'm happy I could answer that for you. But in closing, it's just an honor to be here and talk to friends, neighbors. You know, I get a lot of smirks from you guys in the crowd, but it's okay. I like you guys, and I'm here to work for you. I'm here to listen to you. I'm here to represent you, okay? I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to listen to you, and I'm here to get things done. I've created great relationships throughout Broward County, throughout the state, throughout the country. I brought record grant funding back to my city, record reserves, record investment in parks, created more parks. I can bring this energy and this level to the county, and I look forward to doing it. Thank you for having me.
Do you guys need me to repeat the question?
Why not?
Okay, one more time. What is the one specific commitment you are willing to make tonight that residents can measure 1 year from now if you're elected? And if you're elected, how could our community best help you succeed with your initiatives?
So I'm very hands-on. My wife will tell you I'm very hands-on. September 11th happened, I became a federal air marshal. I jumped on a plane and was scared of heights and scared of flying. And that's what I did. You didn't hear me? You want me to repeat it? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. All right, so that's what I do. I get involved to the extreme when I need to. I don't do things part-time, I don't do things halfway. It's either I'm gonna go all the way or not at all. So again, I did a ride-along with Hollywood Fire. I'm gonna do one with Hollywood PD. I promise to you is to ride along with everybody who will have me in the city, from Public Works. I'll go to the library, you name it, I will be there. So they know that I'm watching for you. Since you can't do it, I'll do it for you. No problem. I love doing that. I love being involved. I love watching the stormwater project every single day and commenting on it and filming it, because some people don't have the time to do it or the ability. Some of them are stuck in their apartments and they can't get out, or they don't drive, they're not mobile. So I'm your eyes and ears on the street. That's my promise to you. If you help me, point me in the right direction. Before coming here, I had several residents send me pictures of code violations they were receiving for garbage in the alley. They gave it to me to bring it here. Well, no one's here to help right now, but I'm going to help them somehow. I haven't been elected yet, but they think I have. That's a good thing, I guess. So remember, I'll be hands-on. You help me, and I'll help you. Just show me where to go, and I'll be there. Thank you so much for your time. And I'll pass this on to my colleague, Kat.
Thank you again for being here, and congrats to all the candidates. The one thing that I want you to be able to say is that Kat knows what an elected official is supposed to be. It's supposed to be somebody who is there not to serve themselves, not to create business connections, not to climb a political ladder, but to represent the community, which is what I've been doing for you for many, many years. You don't have to guess what I stand for. I've been very vocal, I've been very transparent, you know who I am, and you know that I will always make you aware of what's happening in the city, how to get involved, and I respect your opinion. I respect what you want from your community. It's about what the community wants, not what I want. And when you have somebody in elected office who is at city meetings during the middle of the day, by the way, where most residents can't attend, we're only one of 2 cities that does that in Broward County. I want you to know that I'm in there fighting for you, asking your questions, finding out everything that you want to know, and voting the right way. We need someone who's not going to be a rubber stamp. We need somebody who's going to think independently, who's going to protect your public land, who understands resilience, is going to keep our houses and our cars above water, is going to make our parks beautiful, and who is going to fight blood, sweat, and tears for our beautiful beach, which I love so much. I'm here almost every day. I'm so lucky to have raised my kids on the sand, and I will do everything I can to make sure that our beach is successful, clean, safe, family-friendly. You will never regret your vote. Please go to catforhollywood.com and please donate, because we need to win this. We need to turn our city around. Thank you.
On behalf of the Hollywood Beach Civic Association, I want to thank all of you for being such a wonderful, professional, and courteous audience. And I hope that you got the information that you were looking for these wonderful candidates. And don't we have wonderful candidates? Let's thank them again.
All right, before we ask you to leave, I wanted to make sure I thank not only our candidates, but also our board. They worked so hard to put this together for you. I really would appreciate a nice round of applause for all of the board members. We will be coming back to you in September, on September 22nd to 3, possibly 4. Civic associations will hold another forum for elections coming up in November. So please keep that on your calendar, right here at 1301 on the 22nd. Have a happy birthday, America. Enjoy it. Thank you all.
Thank you. HBCA board.